Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to all. Welcome back to Tibyaan program. So, I will start with the Qiraat. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ألف لام ميم. ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه هدى للمتقين الذين يؤمنون بالغيب ويقيمون الصلاة ومما رزقناهم ينفقون والذين يؤمنون بما أنزل إليك وما أنزل من قبلك وبالآخرة هم يوقنون أولئك على هدى من ربهم وأولئك هم المفلحون صدق الله العظيم. Alhamdulillah wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in amma ba'd. Fa'a'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. So today, as everyone knows, today is a Thursday. So on Thursday, as today we are going to learn a new tajweed rule, as well as we are going to learn a few more ayahs of Surah Al Baqarah. So so we are going to split this. Everyone knows, like we usually do on Thursdays. We split the session into two halves. In the first half, we learn the tajweed rule. One tajweed rule we focus. On the second half, we'll learn a few more ayahs of Surah Al Baqarah. Okay, I think let's begin. So, first half we're going to learn the tajweed rule. So today the tajweed rule what we are going to learn is based on makhraj. Actually, this is a terminology which we relate to makhraj. Like when we say makhraj, we frequently use this word while saying on makhraj. So, but there is a twist in this as well. I'll explain it to you in a bit. So I'll share the screen. I hope all of you have the notebook with you, Tajweed notebook. If you maintain one, please keep it with you so that you can write what I'm teaching. So let's start. I'm going to share my screen. Yes, 1 minute. Yeah, so can everyone see my screen? Anyone?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Dua. Yes, so you everyone can see the screen. There
Yeah.
are two. Yeah, okay. There are two words here in Arabic. You can see in Arabic. There are two words. The word, if you can, many people can read. So we read it as Tafkheem and Tarqeeq. So you can see the heading as well. In English, it's written Tafkheem and Tarqeeq letters. So based on pronunciation, letters can be broadly classified as Tafkheem and Tarqeeq. So this is based on pronunciation. On the first class of makhraj, we already learned the makhraj of all the letters. So makhraj, as you all know, is the pronunciation. Like there are three bases in tajweed. The first one is makhraj, the second one is sifat, and the third one are rules according to for recitation in the Quran. So on makhraj, we learned the makhraj of all the letters, and we also learned we also classified those letters into some parts, which is tongue letters, throat letters. But that is classified by the basis of not pronunciation, that is by origin. What does origin means? Where it comes from. We learned some letters come from the throat, some letters come from the tongue, some letters come from the lip. So we learned these classifications are based on um, these classifications are based on origin. So today we are going to learn a classification based on pronunciation. This is very normal. Like these are very easy ones. So there are two, only two. So these are Tafkheem and Tarqeeq. The Tafkheem means yeah. So you can see in the next slide. One minute. Yes, you can see in this slide. Uh, yeah, you can see in this slide. Tafkheem. First, we're going to go on Tafkheem. Tafkheem means heavy letters. So the English meaning of Tafkheem is heavy. So Tafkheem means heavy letters. So there are how many Tafkheem letters? So there are 7 Tafkheem letters. So Tafkheem means heavy. Most of you might know what to do while heavy, and most of you might not know what is heavy. So heavy means how to pronounce is the mouth should be round and high pitched. So round, and you should use your full mouth. The full mouth should be used. So if you read these 7 letters, why are they tafkhim? Because for these we use our full mouth, and we make our mouth round shape. So if you I'll pronounce these letters, you can see my mouth fully becoming round, as well as it's high pitched, and I'm using my full mouth, whole mouth I'm using. So kha, kha, round mouth and full mouth. Kha, sa. Everyone can know these 7 letters. Kha, sa, qa, qa. My mouth is every time becoming round for these letters. That's why these are tafkhim letters. You should use your full mouth. Full mouth. That's the main thing. So why are we learning this? Because when we learn our hifl, I might be using these tafkhim. I might say pronounce it more heavily. So for you guys to know what is heavily and what are heavy letters, what should be pronounced heavily. That's why I'm teaching this. So these are the 7 letters that should be pronounced heavily. Va, va, gha, ta. So these are the 7 letters. All of you, I hope all of you noted it down. So these 7 letters are known as tafkhim letters. We learn right now. So all of you know what is tafkhim. I hope all of you know what is tafkhim. Now tafkhim means heavy. We learned just now. So how to do it heavy? Just to recap, how to do heavy is round mouth, full mouth, and high pitch. So these are the 3 things that is needed for tafkhim letters. So all of you should, whenever there is a tafkhim letter, all of you should do it perfectly. Even in tafkhim, there are 2 levels, but I'm not. You do not need to write these. You just need to know. It's just for knowledge, general knowledge. So there are the first level is heavy. The more noise, like more round. So when these 7 letters have fatha, fatha means everyone knows the haraka, fatha haraka, or the dhamma haraka, dhamma or fatha. Then these are level 1. So these should be done much more than kesra. Kesra are little lower level. So kha and khi are little different. So you don't. These are very deep. So you don't need to learn them, but you just can know them. Kha and khi are not all same noise. So kha comes little more because fatha or dhamma will have more effect than kesra. Not only for kha, for all these letters. So do not need to write that down. I hope all of you know what's tafkhim now, and all of you have written it. I hope that. Um, yeah. So okay. Yeah. I told there's a twist in these. So what is that twist? So this we are actually tafkhim and tarqiq are actually makhraj, which comes under makhraj. But these 7 letters, the tafkhim letters, also have another name. In sifat, which comes under sifat. So it is known as huruf. Huruf means letters. All of you know huruf means letters. Uh, uh, um, um, 1 minute. Yeah. So huruf means letters. So yeah, huruf means letters. Isti'la. So this word, this is a sifat. So we learned makhraj, which is tafkheem and tarqeeq. Now we are learning a sifat. Sifat is like an attribute. So attribute, it's known as isti'la. Isti'la, huruful isti'la means uh, yeah. So isti'la. So here in the last you can say a'la. This comes from the word a'la. So everyone knows Surah Al A'la. So Surah Al A'la means the highest. So Hurooful Isthi'laa means you have to pronounce highly. I have told you round mouth and high voice. So that's why it is known as Hurooful Isthi'laa as well. So another name for you guys. There are many names for this. So do not get bored by this. We learned last week, Hurooful Qalqala. That is also a sifat. We learned it last week. Most of everyone has written it down. You can just see. We learned Hurooful Isti'la, and now we are learning Hurooful Isti'la. Last week we learned Hurooful Qalqala. Hurooful Qalqala, we made another funny and English name. We called it bouncing letters. So like that, even in this, we have made a name. It's not me, but there's a general name, but in English, it's known as awesome letters. Awesome letters. Why are these known as awesome letters? Because these letters are very awesome. As well as, if you can see how I wrote awesome, AWE is higher. AWE is in capital. Why is that? So if you observe the makhraj of these letters, all are ending with a o. Saw, kha, Gha. Everything is ending with a AWE. Aw. So that's why we call it awesome letters. It's just a funny name, like we learned bouncing letters. It's awesome letters. So uh, try just pronouncing in your mind all these letters. You will observe that there is an aw after all letter. So saw aw comes, kha aw comes. Every letter aw is there. That's why we call this awesome letters. It's just a funny name. So you can note it down for easier understanding. Yeah. So in these 7 letters, if you have noted down, it's easier. But for making it more easy to remember, we use all of these letters to make one word. It's just for remembering. It is not. You don't need to write it down. It's just for remembering. Khussa dhagatin qiz. So that's a one word. That's a word which we use like for making it easier for us to remember these. So anyone asks you what are tafkhim letters or what are huruful isti'la or awesome letters, you can just remember. So hussa waqatin qib. Then you can remember khussa. So kha comes sa hussa waqatin wa ghatin gha tin ta, like that qib qa and wa. Khussa wagatin qid. That's a funny, that's like for remembering. We use that for remembering. So all of you might have finished writing and all of you know. So yeah, this is a sifat. Everyone should know that. Tafkheem was a makhraj terminology, but this is a sifat. So do not get confused. This is an attribute. So these all letters have a similar attribute, which is isti'la, awesome letters. Aw. So awesome letters. So anyone has any doubts? So anyone unmuted? Okay, I think no one has any doubt. So I hope all of you learn this. I think you benefited from what I said. So now we are going to go to Tarqeeq letters. Yes, yes, Tarqeeq letters. 1 minute. Yeah. So I hope all of you can see the screen. In Tarqeeq letters, we have 20 Tarqeeq letters. In Tafkheem letters, we had 7. So all of you should write the number as well. So it becomes easier. So 7 Tafkheem letters and 20 Tarqeeq letters. So the 20 Tarqeeq letters, what are Tarqeeq letters? They are light letters, opposite. So Tarqeeq is not like any, again, like it's not like having a special attribute like Tafkheem. It's not any attributes. There's no sifat upon it. It's just a normal, we pronounce it normally and with a wide mouth. You should take this serious, like listen it properly, observe. I said Tafkheem is round mouth. This is wide mouth. You should open your mouth. Ah. If you can see my mouth, ah, ba, ta, sa. I'm not saying ah. That's wrong. Ah, ba, ta. That's wrong. So for these, it's wide mouth. So that's why these are Tarqeeq letters. Wide mouth. A, ba. Every letter you can see we are opening our mouth little wider. Some letters are more wide, some letters are less wide. That's no problem. So these are Tarqeeq letters. It should be done normally. There's no high pitched. There's nothing like that. It's just normally. So all of you know 20 Tarqeeq letters. Tarqeeq means light. It's just normal. Wide mouth. Remember that. Tarqeeq is wide mouth. Tafkheem is round mouth. Kha and A. They both are different. So A comes wide mouth. Kha comes round mouth. So remember that. Yeah. Then all of these letters come like that. A, Ba, Ta, Sa, Ja, Ha, Da. All of these letters. So I hope all of you learned what is tarqiq. Yes. So now many of you might have observed, but I didn't see any questions. So I said there are 20 tarqiq letters, and then I said 7 tafkhim letters. So if they add up, there will be 27. But there are 28 letters in Arabic. So why is there one letter less? But no one asked this question. I thought some of you might be there who are smart enough to know this. And some might ask me. So no one asked me till now. So I'm saying it. So there are 20 tafiq and 7 tafkhim. So in these both, which does not come is raw. So you can see it's in a circle raw. So this raw has a special attribute. So it's like raw it comes tarqiq as well as tafkhim. So raw has a very big rule behind it. Not so big, but it's not. I cannot take it now. So this tafkhim and tarqiq letters, we are going to continue it next week as well. So I'll say the topic for next week. So next week on Thursday, we are going to learn about raw. So what is raw and why does it come? Why doesn't it come on tarqiq or tafkhim? Actually, it is not. No, need it is actually both tafkhim and tarqiq. Raw at times it comes at tafkhim, at times it comes at tarqiq as or tarqiq. You cannot permanently say on tafkhim nor tarqiq. Yeah, so raw is an exception. So there are places there where exceptions are there. So raw is one of those exceptions. Yeah, so we learn more about raw in the next week, inshallah. And next week, there's one more exception in this letter actually. It's known as lafdul jalala. You don't need to learn it. We are going to teach it next week, inshallah. So next week we're going to even learn another exception. So most of you might have observed in the Quran, Allah's name there is lam, but we do not pronounce it in tarqiq. Lam is a tarqiq letter. You can see in my screen, lam comes under tarqiq letters. So, but in Allah, Allah, so it's a tafkhim letter. So why is that? So I'm just saying for knowledge right now. I'm going to discuss it deeper tomorrow in next class, inshallah, next Thursday. So lam in Allah is a completely different exception. Lam in Allah. So if lam comes without Allah, if lam comes, lam is always tarqiq. All of you know we just learned the 20 tarqiq letters. So lam is a tarqiq letter, but lam in one place, only in one place, that is Allah. That word, only in that word, lam can be either tafkhim as well as tarqiq. Lam will have the same as ra, same exception as ra, but only when lam is at Allah, inside Allah. Only the word Allah, inside only the word Allah, lam performs this attribute of it. So lam usually is tarqiq, but in Allah it gets both tafkhim and tarqiq, which we are going to learn in next class, inshallah. In the next class, we are going to learn more about this tafkhim, more about ra and lam of Allah. So Lamb of Allah is what we call for this lamb, which comes under Allah, inside Allah. We call it Lamb of Allah or Lafzul Jalala. You don't need to write. You don't need to know the name. So I'm just saying it for knowledge. So now we have finished Tafkheem and Tarqeeq letters. I've said. So we'll do some examples. Let's read together. So all of you do not need to unmute yourself. Just behind the mic, I'll say all these. Try to say it once. Okay. Try to say it with me. After me, try to say it so that we have a practice. So the first word, khubz. Everyone try to say it. Do not mute. Try to 1 minute. Yes. Um, so yeah, try to pronounce this with me. Khubz, khubzun, khubzun, kha. Kha again, it's a tafqeem. Khubzun, dhalal. Everyone say it with me.
Shouldn't
Dhalal.
it be Khubuzun?
1 minute. Who was that?
Hanun.
Yes, Hanun.
Shouldn't it be Khubuzun?
I
Qalqala.
can't hear clearly. What is it?
Shouldn't it be Khubuzun?
Khubzun. Yes, khubzun.
It should be Khubuzun, right? Bouncing.
Yeah, bouncing. That is in the Quran. In while you read in Arabic, you can either do bouncing as well as you can read it normally. If in the Quran any of these comes, yeah, very good, Hanun. The qalqala, you should do the bouncing. But when we learn like for Arabic, when we read, you don't need to do. It's your wish to do.
Okay.
Yes. So first one is khubzun. You can do khubzun as well as khubzun. Anything is correct. So all of you read it with me. Khubzun.
Khubzun.
Do not need to mute, Hanun. I mean, do not need to unmute. You can read it behind the mic, no problem. So I'll go to next one. Walal. Walal. Tibaqa. Tibaqa. Zilal. Zilal. Himar. Himar. Jabl. Jabl. Ja. Jabl. This actually is ja. So for just one example of the wide mouth, these are not all tafqeem. So ja should be jabalun, himarun. See, if you can see my video, you can see himarun. I'm not saying hima. I'm not closing my mouth for jabalun han ja. So only for these letters. I mean, only for the 7 tafqeem letters. I'm doing that. So next set of words I'll just read. I'll just go through. Salah, salah, salah. Ghaib, ghaib, ghaib. Quran, Quran, qu, qu, Quran. Bait, bait. Falaq, falaq, falaq. Dar, dar. Okay, very good. I hope all of you have read it behind me. It's just for practice. So so for the tajweed we end it right now. So I'll just give a recap on what we learned today. So we learned first there are two classifications based on pronunciation. This is pronunciation. On makhraj it's different. On makhraj on makhraj it is throat letters and I mean not on makhraj. On origin it is throat letters and lip letters. These are pronunciation. It can be classified into tafkheem and tarqeeq. Then we learn what is tafkheem. Tafkheem means heavy letters. Heavily you have to pronounce. Round mouth. So these are 3 attributes: round mouth, full mouth, and high pitch noise. So these are the 3 attributes of tafkheem. So all of you can write it down like in a box. No, you do not need to write it down as well. Just remember, round mouth. A mouth should be round. You should use your full mouth, and it should be high pitched noise. Kha. So we learned the 7 Tafkheem letters. We learned there are 7 Tafkheem letters. So why are we learning this? We learned that in the Quran many of these letters comes, as well as when we learn the Surah Al Baqarah. I may have said may have said earlier, as well as I'll say in the future, inshallah. So make it more heavy or read it in Tafkheem. So all of you should know what are these. That's why we are learning this as well. That's even a part. So then we learned another sifat name for this. Sifat name Hurooful Isthi'laa. I know everyone have noted down. I hope that everyone have noted down. So Hurooful Isthi'laa is based on the sifat.
Right?
Is based on the sifat. And we learned even the funny name, like we learned bouncing letters, we awesome letters. Awe. Every letters have awe in them. Saw, ha, like we learned it. Everything has awe if you observe, if you listen carefully. Then we learned what are Tarqeeq letters. Tarqeeq letters are light letters. There are 20 of them. It is wide mouth. So these are the attributes of these are wide mouth and normally, just normally. These are not special. The Tafkheem letters are special. These are only wide mouth. The mouth should be wide. It should not be round. So any of these letters should not be round. Remember that. Any of the Tarqeeq letters should not be round mouth. And then we learned Ra is an exception. So Ra comes as an exception of it is both Tarqeeq as well as Tafkheem. Then yeah, okay. Then we also learned another exception. That was Lam in Allah comes again Tafkheem and Tarqeeq. Lam normally is a Tarqeeq letter, but in Allah sometimes it comes Tafkheem and Tarqeeq, which we are going to learn in next class, the broadly classification. So next class we are going to learn about next Thursday actually. Lam of Allah, it's known as Lam of Allah. We can say it as Lam of Allah and Ra. So these are very big topics. So all of you should be ready to learn these. You should make your mind ready for these because these are very hard and deep topics, and not deep but hard ones. So everyone should be ready for this. That's why I'm saying it this week as well. So then we learned some examples with the Tafkheem as well as Tarqeeq letters. So that's what we did in the Tajweed class today. I hope all of you benefited from this Tajweed rule and all of you wrote this down. I hope all of you wrote this down. So like I have given a revision, so it is almost correctly timed. So the first session is over. We can conclude our first session. So I hope everyone learned what is Tafkheem and what is Tarqeeq. So now,
Fanan,
So by
yes,
seeing a
should
symbol,
we
you have
note
understood
this
what it
also
is.
down?
Right?
what is it?
Let us read
No, 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 no.
together.
You do not need to. Yeah. So good question, Ihsan. But you do not need to note these words down. People who have noted it, no problem. But you do not need. These are only for reading. So I didn't. I said read because all of you for a practice. So I had told all of you to read behind me. So with me after me. So yeah. So this is only for reading. You do not need to write it down. So we are concluding this session, not this session actually, this half of the period, this Tajweed session. So anyone has any questions about anything can ask me right now. Then we can we can learn Surah Al Baqarah, ayah number 6 and ayah number 7. Any questions? Everyone learned these ayahs? Anyone show thumbs up?
Uh, yeah.
What poses for a particular
Very good, Ihsan. Yeah. 1 minute. Um, Shahzeb, do you want to ask something? You raise your hand.
By mistakenly.
Okay, okay, no problem. So I don't think so anyone has any questions.
Is there Surah Baqarah today?
Yeah. So we just complete our half of the session. So we learned a tajweed rule. Now we are going to look on Surah Al Baqarah, inshallah, right now.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, Sister Marwa, is there any
Yes.
question?
Will you share the first screen of Tajweed role you taught in the first class? That slide will you share?
Which is it?
First one and the role in Alif Lam Mim seems. Mushaddada.
Noon Mushaddada.
Huh.
Um, uh, one
Will you?
minute. Yeah, so we didn't write much on Noon Mushaddada actually.
Oh, okay.
So we just learned what is Noon Mushaddada, what is Shadda, and actually we looked a lot of examples. So what we did that day, we looked at a lot of examples. So Malikin Nas, Qul A'udhu bi Rabbin Nas, and me Mushaddada examples. Ayatasalun. Then we should do Kella here. We should not do Unna like that. We looked at a lot of examples. We didn't write anything much down. Only this much. So there's not much.
Okay. Carry
Okay,
on.
okay. Okay, I think we can start our Surah Al Baqarah. I hope all of you have a Quran. I'm sharing this on screen, but it's better to look at your Quran because you're going to learn with that Quran. So it's very good to look at the Quran and again and again. So I'm only going to share the screen only for your reference for the rules. So that's why try to look in your Quran. So
Today is it Baqarah 6 and 7?
yeah, today we are going to learn Surah Al Baqarah, Ayah 6 and Ayah 7. Okay, so
Okay.
yeah, okay, thank you, Rehan. So I'll start with the I'll recite these two ayahs once, then I'll explain the rules, inshallah. So I'll start. Uh, Before I start, yeah, so I'll start. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الذين كفروا سواء عليهم أأنذرتهم أم لم تنذرهم لا يؤمنون. ختم الله على قلوبهم وعلى سمعهم وعلى أبصارهم غشاوة ولهم عذاب عظيم. صدق الله العظيم. So today we are going to look at ayah 6 and ayah 7. So I'm going to explain all what we should do at these ayahs in that as per tajweed. So then do not need to after reading like the tajweed after I explain the tajweed, you do not need to raise your hand. I will unmute some people. I will unmute by myself. So that
Okay.
so that not every time the same people. So if I do not unmute, I know I know the people who are going to raise their hand. So today I'm not asking anyone to raise their hand. I'll choose myself so that everyone can get a chance. Otherwise, it'll be the same people revolving again and again. So that's why. But all of you can practice behind the mic, no problem. So all of you can practice with me. Yeah. So everyone can unmute themselves. So since any question they can ask, no problem. So I'll start. So first, innal ladina. There, the first only we have noon mushaddada. Noon mushaddada, we learned noon with the shadda is known as noon mushaddada. And we learned we should do ghunna. In the first tajweed class, 2 weeks back on Thursday, we learned we should do ghunna there. Ghunna means reading from the nose. Alladina. Here, Hamzatul Wasl. After inna, you can see Hamzatul Wasl here. you should drop it. Then drop it means leave it, ignore it. Then alladina, innalladina, you should join these both. Then lam with shadda, you should not do gunna. Remember that you should not do innalladina. That's wrong. Innal is wrong. Innalladina, alladina. That's it. Normal lam with shadda you should do. You should not do gunna. Many people do. Not like you guys. Many people I've heard do shadda on lam. No, do gunna on lam shadda. So lam mushaddada, you should not do gunna. Only on noon mushaddada and mim mushaddada you should do gunna. So then innal ladina, the comes from underneath the tongue. The we learned the makhraj. Innal ladina kafaru, ka is wrong. Kafaru, as we learned today itself, is the tarqiq letter, so it should be wide mouth. So you can't say ka, it's a round mouth. So you should say ka. Kafaru, kafaru, kafaru. Here again, one alif with one circle. You should drop it as well. You should ignore it, leave it aside. So innal ladina kafaru sawa'un. Sawa, after wa there is a mad. There's a alif with a madda. This is the madda sign, mad sign. Mad means stretch. So we learned, we didn't learn actually. I said you guys, mad means to stretch. So we should stretch for 4 to 5 counts.
And then,
4 to 5 counts is how much we should
and then
stretch. Yes.
how do if a mud comes, how do we know how many ticks we should stretch?
Yeah. So try to do 4 for most of them. Actually, there is a rule behind this. There's a big. When I say big means there's a lot of rule in this. So in the mud itself, it'll take 2 days to complete all the full rules. That too, it's very advanced. So since we have small kids as well here, that's why I'm not going right now. Inshallah, we'll go in the future into the classification of mud. So now you can just like for these ayahs, I can say you how much you should do. But for the others, if you are reading the Quran, you come across a mud, try to do 4. So most of them 4 is okay. So I'm not going deeper into it. Good question there. We'll learn it in Tajweed class, inshallah. So here I'm saying you to do 4 to 5 counts. 4 to 5 means 4 or 5. I say mostly a little more. 5 I say. It's your wish, no problem. إن الذين كفروا سواء عليهم. That's that's the stretching I do. You can do less than that. I did 5, so you can do less than that. You can do 4 as well. Then sawa'un alayhim. This is a very dangerous place. Actually, it's a dangerous place. So here Hamza, then Ain. After Hamza, when Ain comes, it's actually harder to pronounce. So first sawa'un alay, a. So Hamza and a, they are different. So first Hamza, then a. Sawa'un alayhim. So it's a hard one. Try, if you try, you can do it, inshallah. Sawa'un alayhim. Then sawa'un alayhim. Alayhim. Ha should be from the throat. Alayhim. Andartahum. There are 2 here. It's not, this has a hamza within itself as well. So this is not andartahum. It's andartahum. Here here you should do gunna. We learned what is gunna from the nose. Andartahum. You should do. There should be gunna there. Then zartahum. The comes from underneath the tongue. So andartahum, zartahum. Here ra, it should be actually, yeah, we learn, if we go through next class, you will learn it perfectly, because I'm going to explain the ra, the tafkheem and tarqeeq. So here you should do tafkheem. Do not ask why, because anyways you are going to learn it next week. So so for the sake of learning this ayah, I'm saying you should do ra tafkheem there. You should do anzar, zar, ra. It should be heavy. أأنذرتهم ذرتهم ذر ذا. It should not be ذا. So أأنذرتهم tahum. Again, ha comes from the throat. أأنذرتهم hum ha. Lam lam tundirhum. Here again there's a gunna there, like anzartahum. Here anzartahum, like that. Tundirhum, there is gunna there as well. So tundirhum, again here there is a ra with sukun. You should do tarqeeq this time. Many of you might know. So by observing these two places, many of you know the difference. Many of you might have known by now. Keep it with yourselves. Inshallah, next week we are going to broadly learn it. Briefly. Briefly we are going to learn it. Here you should do tarqeeq. So for the sake of ayah, I'm saying you should do tarqeeq. Tundir, dir, hum, tundir, hum, tundir. That should be wide mouth. Lam tundirhum, tundirhum, hum, I'm sorry, 1 minute. Yes. So tundirhum, here tundir. It should be tarqiq here. Tundirhum, ha should come from the throat. La yu'minun. La yu'minun. La, it should be stretched. It should not be la. It should not be la. La. La yu'minun. We learned in the third and fourth ayah. Yu'minun, here you should do the zap sound. La yu'minun. La yu'minun. You should do the zap sound. And so that's the first ayah. So I'll read it again once. إن الذين كفروا سواء عليهم أأنذرتهم أم لم تنذرهم لا يؤمنون. Here there are, in this ayah, the sixth ayah which we learned, there are no stopping signs. So many of you can stop at andartahum. This is the best place to stop. I stopped at alayhim. Most of you try to do it in one breath, because this is not such a it's not very big ayah. So many of you can do in one breath. So people who can do it in one breath. People who can't, stop at andartahum. That's the best place. Sorry for stopping at alayhim. It's better to stop at andartahum. I'll read for those who have good breath. I'll read how they read. إن الذين كفروا سواء عليهم أأنذرتهم أم لم تنذرهم لا يؤمنون. That's how you do for in one breath. So it's better not to do one breath, because there are gunnas here, gunna and sawa. There's a mad as well, so it will be harder to do in one breath. So people who can, try it, no problem. Okay, now we will go to the seventh ayah. Yes, so let's start. Khatamallahu, khatamallahu, kha from the throat. We learned throat letters, and as well as the tafkheem letter, kha. A sound should come. Yes, a sound should come. Kha. Khatamallahu. Khatamallahu. Kha comes from the throat. We learned how to pronounce it. Khatamallahu. Allahu comes tafkheem here. We learned today. Tafkheem. Actually, there is another place where it comes tarqiq, which we are going to learn next class, inshallah. This is the exception part. But here we should do tafkheem. ختم الله على قلوبهم. ختم الله على. Ain should come from the throat. Ala, you should stretch. It's not ala is wrong. Ala قلوبهم. Qaf. Qa comes from the lowest part here, lowest part of the tongue. قلوبهم. Qa. قلوبهم. Ha. Bihim. Ha comes from the throat again. ختم الله على قلوبهم على قلوبهم وعلى سمعهم. Here again, وعلى عين again comes from the throat. So these are throat letters, many throat letters. So concentrate on these. وعلى سمعهم. Again, after some, there is two throat letters which comes from the throat. So سمعهم سمعهم عيهم عين, then ha. So these both are throat letters coming next to each other. So it's harder. So try سمعهم سمعهم. Here you can stop. It's a sign of stop. You can stop here. Then continue from next itself. Do not need to continue from back. وعلى أبصارهم وعلى. Here again it's the same as وعلى سمعهم, but there's a difference in here. وعلى, there's the same thing, but there's a small alif on ala. On all the three alas there are a small alif, but on this ala there is an alif with a mad sign on top of it. It should be done 2 to 4 counts. So people who are interested in the counting, so wala 2 to 4 counts is better, not more than that. So if you can read it for 2 counts, it's wala absarihim, 4 counts. Wala absarihim, that's for 4 counts. That's for 4 counts. So you can do either 2 or 4 counts. Then absarihim, ba with qalqala, bouncing. We learned we should bounce in ba. Absarihim, absarihim, Then sarihim. It's not swa. Abswarihim is wrong. Sa. Again, tafkheem letter, awesome letter. We learned the a. Sa. Absarihim. It's not absarihim. Here there is a small alif, if you can see. Absarihim. You should not even do it more. Absarihim is wrong. Absarihim. That's it. Sarihim. Then sarihim. Ha comes from the throat. Absarihim. Then ghishawa. Here ghain comes from the throat. But here, as I have told, but you do not need to know this. But tafkheem second level, it comes with kasra. So ghi. It's not so much as gha, but it's little less than ghi. Ghishawa. Here there is a ta in the last ghishawa. This is a ta'ul marbuta, you call it. You do not need to learn this. So ta, when we stop, it's again a rule which we learn, inshallah. Ta, when we stop, it will be converted into ha. So ta, remember this, ta, when we stop, it will be converted into ha. Ha with sukoon, that too. Salah, ha with sukoon. Like salah we learn, right? وَيُقِيمُونَ الصَّلَاةِ, like that. Ghishawa. Here you should pronounce the ha. Ha should be perfect. Like fi, ha you stop, right? With the sukoon, it should be clear. Like that, same thing. Absarihim ghishawa. Ha should be clear enough for the others to listen.
Fanan,
Yes, Ihsan?
this comes in end of many ayahs.
Yeah, so very good observation. So as Ihsan said, these also come at many ayahs. So when we stop at, so I'm just teaching you. So when we stop at ta'ul marbuta, this is not a ta'ul marbuta. It should be converted into ha with sukoon, So ha with sukoon. This ta has two dhammas, but actually when we do it into ha, it should have sukoon. You should convert it into a ha with sukoon. Like example, hal ataka hadithul ghashiya. Have you ever wondered why we say ghashiya? So that's the reason. And wujuhu yawma idin khashi'ah. Ha should come. Like, so if we do not, if this rule was not made, you would have pronounced it hal ataka hadithul ghashiyat. That's how you do if this rule was not there.
If it was if that wasn't like this, we would have joined the two ayahs.
No, if you are stopping, it would be ta with sukun. So actually, when we stop, it should be ha with sukun, since this rule was there. So if you're not stopping here, there is a stopping sign here, ghishawa. If you're not stopping, then you should do ta'ul marbuta. This is only for stopping. Remember, ta'ul marbuta, when we converting into ha, is only for stopping, while stopping. So if you're not stopping, it should be absarihim ghishawatun walahum. That's how it should be. So yeah, so better to stop because there's a stopping sign. So ghishawa, ha should be heard. Like salah, wa yuqimuna salah in the third ayah, wa yuqimuna salah, ha. Like that, if you're stopping at ghishawa, ghishawa, ha should come properly. Then continuation. Walahum adabun, walahum, ha. So walahum, ha comes from the throat, ha. Walahum adabun, adabun, a. Adabun, ain comes from the throat as well. Adabun, the wide mouth, tarqiq letter, the, and underneath the tongue, the underneath the teeth, the. ولهم عذاب عظيم عظيم عين عظيم. So that's the tajweed of this ayah. I'll read it again, this ayah as a whole. ختم الله على قلوبهم وعلى سمعهم وعلى أبصارهم غشاوة ولهم عذاب عظيم. That's the seventh ayah as a whole. So now, in our left time, we can some people can read these two ayahs. So do not raise your hand, or do not ask for reading. Since every day the same people read again and again, today I'm going to choose a new set of people so that even they get the experience of what it is like reading in the class. So I'll choose the people who should read. I'm sorry for people who wanted to read if they do not get a chance. So 1 minute. Farha. Farha, actually, you do not need to read it by looking. I will read it together. I think she has left the meeting. Everyone, if I call you, you do not need to leave the meeting. There's no problem if you make mistake. Everyone are learners, so by experience only you can learn better. So if you try, and if you do not be like, I don't want to read, try to read, it's better. So uh, so do not leave the meeting or like that, do anything like that. So 1 minute. Yeah, Harmin.
Yes.
Yes, Harmin. So we'll go like, I will read it, you can repeat it. Okay, Harmin.
Yes.
So I'll read little, then you can repeat it after me, so that you get how to read it. Okay. Okay, I'll start. Repeat it after me. Innalladhina.
Innallazina.
Alladhina. The alladhina.
Allazina.
Okay. Then kafaru.
Kafaru.
Sawa'un
Sawa'un.
alayhim.
Alayhim.
Alayhim ain.
Alayhim.
Very good. أأنذرتهم.
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 No, أأنذرتهم. أأنذرتهم.
أأنذرتهم.
Very good. أم لم
أم لم
تنذرهم.
تنذرهم.
لا يؤمنون.
لا يؤمنون.
Very good, Harman. Now I'll give Aiza. 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 Aiza, we can read together the 7th ayah. If you can unmute. Yes. Okay, Aiza. Very good. So read it after me. ختم الله
ختم الله
على قلوبهم.
على قلوبهم.
Very good, mashallah. وعلى سمعهم.
وعلى سمعهم.
Okay, try to make the sam'ihim ain come here. Okay, sam'ihim. Try to make it ain. Okay. Okay. Then وعلى
وعلى
أبصارهم.
أبصارهم.
Very good. Very good.
Can I read?
غشاوة.
إشارة.
غشاوة.
إشارة.
Very good. ولهم
ولهم
عذاب
عذاب
عظيم.
عظيم.
Very good, Aiza, mashallah. So Aiza has read the 7th ayah. So like that, a few more people, I'll repeat after me.
Can I read?
Yeah. So now again the 6th ayah, Aqsa. Yes, Aqsa. The 6th ayah. I will say, you can repeat it after me. Okay. Aqsa.
Yes.
Yeah. So I will say the ayah. You can repeat it after me one by one. So I'll start. إن الذين
إن الذين
كفروا
كفروا
سواء.
سواء.
Your internet connection became cut. Sorry. Again, سواء
سواء
عليهم
عليهم
أأنذرتهم.
أأنذرتهم
MashaAllah, very good. أم لم
لم
تنذرهم.
تنذرهم.
Dhir is not required. Ra should not have qalqala. We learned the qalqala. I think you wrote it down last week. Qaf, ta, ba, jim, and dal. These 5 letters only. So ra you should not do. Tunzirhum.
تنذرهم.
MashaAllah. La yu'minun.
لا يؤمنون.
Very good. So, thank you. Then now Ihsan.
Yes.
Yes, Ihsan, we'll read the 7th ayah together.
إن
No,
الذين
Ihsan, no problem. No, the 7th ayah. The 7th ayah is Khatam Allahu, and you do not need to read it. I will read it. You can continue after me. Okay. So that it becomes easier for you.
Alright.
Okay, I'll start. Khatam Allahu
ختم الله
ala qulubihim
على قلوبهم
wa ala sam'ihim
وعلى سمعهم
wa ala
وعلى
absarihim
أبصارهم
غشاوة
غشاوة
ولهم
ولهم
عذاب
عذاب
عظيم.
عظيم.
Very good, Ihsan. Ihsan read it perfectly after me. MashaAllah, barakallahu fikum. Now you can read. Now people who want to read can read alone the 6th ayah and the 7th ayah. So anyone wants to read can raise their hand.
Can I?
Uh, who is this? I'm sorry, I could not hear properly.
Ihsan. Ihsan.
No, Ihsan, you have read, right? So give others a chance.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So yeah, Najih, you can read.
Both the ayahs?
No, only the 6th ayah. The Innal Ladina.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. إن الذين كفروا سواء عليهم أأنذرتهم أم لم تنذرهم لا يؤمنون.
Very good, Najih. What I would like to correct is tundirhum. Did ra with tarqiq and no qalqala. Tundirhum. I hope.
تنذرهم.
Yeah, very good, perfect. So and another thing, alayhim. Try to make the ayn properly. Okay, improve it. Inshallah, I know you can do it. Yes. So now our class timing is end. So we'll go through three more people. So
Can I read?
yes, Rehan, the 7th ayah you can read.
Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ختم الله على قلوبهم وعلى سمعهم وعلى أبصارهم غشاوة ولهم عذاب عظيم.
MashaAllah, you have done the makhraj and all perfectly, MashaAllah. But wa'ala, there a little more stretching is required.
وعلى
Yes,
أبصارهم.
perfect, MashaAllah. Very good. Now we'll go through a little faster. So anyone again for the 6th ayah? No one is raising. So now we'll go through two more people. One person will read the 6th ayah, one person will read the 7th ayah. Then we can complete our class. We can conclude the session, inshallah. So I'll call out the name. One minute. Dua, do you want to read?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, Dua, yes. You can read the 6th ayah.
Yeah.
Yes.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الذين كفروا سواء عليهم أأنذرتهم أم لم تنذرهم لا يؤمنون.
MashaAllah, very good. Very good, Dua. Yeah, here kafaru, little stretching. You can remove the little stretching. You did more actually.
Oh.
Okay, so there's no mad sign here. So only little is required. Innalladhina kafaru. That's it. So the others were perfect. The other words and all were perfect. Letters and all. Makhraj was perfect. MashaAllah, very good.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you as well. Hanun, yeah, you can read the 7th ayah. Then we can finish the class.
ختم الله على قلوبهم وعلى سمعهم وعلى أبصارهم غشاوة ولهم عذاب عظيم.
MashaAllah, very good, Hanun. Everyone, Hanun has read perfectly. Barakallahu feekum. So he has done the makhraj and all perfectly. Though the ayn, walahum adabun, little more is required, but the pronunciation was correct, MashaAllah. So with this we end our class. Thank you, Hanun, for the conclusion. So wa akhiru da'wana anil hamdulillahi rabbil alameen. So yeah, so for the next class on Tuesday, you can learn you can learn these two ayahs by heart. Then you can recite it to me on Tuesday.
Okay.
Yeah, so So your job for learning for these 2 days, like Friday, Saturday, and today Sunday, these 4 days, you can learn these by heart. So you do not need to like put so much effort to learn it by heart. It's very easy, and when you learn it by heart, learn it from the starting, so it's better. So yes, we can end with the session. I will meet
Assalamu
again,
alaikum.
inshallah, on next Tuesday. Walaikum salam, Rehan. So assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to all of you.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam.